We are the creators of reality. Those who have mastered perseverance, those who thrive despite attempts to thwart us, those who make magic at the root of the very trees they hung us from. We are the mountains and the rivers. We are the sun and the moon. We are sand and gems. We are the first and the final. We be big and small. We be light and dark. We be seasoned and youthful. We be sensual and sacred. Those gifted and divine. Those powerful and radical. Those vibrant and ancestral. We are the creators of reality. We are the Black Oasis. Oasis Podcast. I'm your host, Kaya Supreme, and this is the place where we lay it all down. Today's guest is a vibrant spirit. I remember the very first time that I saw her, she was just moving around the room in a way where she was clearly bringing light to anybody that she was interacting with. People were celebrating her, loving, happy to see her. And then I heard her speak, I heard her communicate, I heard her talk, and it matched. She is a mother. She is a nurse. She is all the things. And I'm so excited to have her on the show today because she is also a person who lives in wellness. And Black Oasis is all about wellness, paradise living for our people. So without further ado, I would love to introduce and bring to the stage the wonderful, the dynamic, the amazing, the beautiful, the ebullient, the on-time and punctual, vivacious nursing lady, Jaime, y'all.
Wish I would have brought my come in music. It would have been any Mary J. Blige song that would have brought me in. Well, thank you, Kaya. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this great platform you've created. You know, when you first told me that you had a podcast and I listened to it, I was like, she's doing something. Like, this is so meaningful. And when I thought about, you know, when I met you, all of the things you said, you are just a well-articulated, there's a lot of words, well-articulated, down to earth. Like, you know, you hold these two places that I have a foot in as well. But you're so true to yourself. So I honor that because that's a place I'm trying to get to. So to hear that, you know, to be invited into a space where I could be authentic, I can talk about whatever you'd have me talk about, but, you know, whatever I could bring to the Black Oasis, because I feel like when you talk about that oasis, it's a place where people come to fill up. Sometimes you don't even know what you're coming to fill up. You don't even know what you're coming to get, right?
Woo!
So what we can leave here, you know, some days I can give and some days I need to receive. So thank you for allowing me to this space because it's you've created a beautiful place for people to just come and give up themselves and their gifts. So thank you.
What is that? Absolutely. Thank you. You know, this is the idea is that we don't get what you didn't know you needed, you know, get what you didn't even know you needed. We all contribute something to this world. We're all intentionally, divinely created to bring something, and it should be highlighted. And why not use technology to give people more access, easier access, free access to knowledge, gems, information, affirmation that's just going to enhance our quality of life as a whole. Because if one person is well, that is infectious. The same way a bad attitude is infectious, so is living well, so is positivity, so is principle. And I've seen it not only transform my life, but then transform other people's lives as well. If someone's having a bad day and you walk in and you greet them with an affirmation and a little bit of love, magic, it's over with. The day's changed. And then whoever they come in contact with is going to get a good mood. So thank you for being willing, you know, just give people a little background about who you be, what you do, just in daily life. Who is Jaime and what does Jaime think her purpose is?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm pretty regular. I was listening to all the people that you have interviewed, and I'm like, oh, I'm so like regular. But I'm
No way.
as you said, I'm a mother of four children who are young adults now. Um, I am a nurse. I'm a nurse by profession, but you talk about your gift to the world and what we were divinely made to do, and
Mm-hmm.
that is what I was made to do. Is I
Yeah.
walked into a profession that I'm so grateful is, I would, people say this, it's so cliche, I do it for free, but it gives so much to me every day. Like, I would do it for free, because I love to just be able to, more recently in my nursing career, be with people who are in their most vulnerable space and just be able
Mm-hmm.
to sit with them and to know your presence is enough.
Mm.
So I'm a nurse. I recently achieved my terminal degree in nursing. I got my doctorate in nursing practice because I'd like to go into academia at some point. um, but I also, talking about like having a foot in two spaces, I came up as a teenage mother. I was a welfare to work mother. That's how I became a nurse. I was in the projects with my two youngest kids, and was on welfare assistance, and they paid for my childcare and they paid for my school, and now I'm where I am. So I love to speak to women who have the same kind of journey, because I feel like I know then I couldn't see where I am now. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things I love to give back to women in my community, and is just to let them know I've been where you are, and you can be enlightened and self-actualized there and here. Like, education doesn't equal peace and self actualization as we would like to think it. It really isn't a caste
Right.
system. It really isn't, oh, I got the money and I got the education. So now I'm this, spiritual filled person. I've learned that back then I was closer to, you know, um,
Mm-hmm.
I was closer to divinity than sometimes I am now. Right. So
Yeah.
that's something I've been given a gift through my journey to help, women who have the same story or something similar, or not, to let people know some of us didn't come up, weren't given it. We had to kind of trudge through it. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's who I am in a
Man,
nutshell.
you said a lot because there were so many things you were talking, and I was like, ooh, 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 ooh. And the very first thing that you talked about was your gifting, and being in care, healing people. Being in a nurturer while people are at some of their lowest and hardest moments, and that takes a skill, because even when we just think about, I just learned about this idea of emotional illness and, people not necessarily being well emotionally. We talk about mental health, we talk about physical health. We don't always get to the emotional, but it's a luxurious concept because some of us has got to do what we got to do to survive throughout the day. But when we do get to this place of being able to live at our highest capacity and our most healthy selves, we start to chip away at these feelings, right? And so when I think about, people who are ailing physically, right, there's also an emotional component that comes along with it. And as a nurse, I I assume that you get to be very close to that. I have a friend who's going through stage 4 cancer, right? And I have witnessed how it makes other people emotionally uncomfortable. And because of that, they what I learned was something called cancer ghosting, where people will avoid people who are going through, uh, life changing, maybe, terminal illnesses. As a nurse, you sit in those spaces, and just with your personality, I already know that anybody you come across is probably given a breath of fresh air. But, how do you maintain, number one, the joy to be able to give to people in those spaces? And then how do you also take care of yourself after you leave those spaces, because it's work, it is emotional labor, outside of the medicine. What are some of the things that you've seen, and then what are some of the things that you do to balance?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely save that second part for later. For
Okay.
the second part. Um,
Okay.
how, yeah, I gratitude. I heard something the other day that said, it was like remorse is a greater force than gratitude. And I was like, who is this person? Like, I have, and I wasn't always like this. It took, me learning the technical skills of nursing to then learn, now how do I look at the person as a whole person. So I would say the first 5 years I was a nurse, I didn't kind of have that skill, but I had great mentors who, they
Mm-hmm.
were examples, right? But
Mm-hmm.
um I feel like I have gratitude for the space that I'm allowed to be in with someone. When through death and dying, getting a bad, a diagnosis, I'll be with somebody, I'll be with a patient, and we'll be laughing about something. The doctor comes in and tells them, you have this and it's not curable. They leave the room and I'm now still with the patient, so that space, it's heavy. But again, you talk about divine purpose. My divine spirit and the God I'm connected to says to me, yeah, Jaime, this is where you come in. You be
Yeah.
me. You step in, and you don't even have to say anything. That's the beauty of it, just the energy. And I'll tell you, in that space, I've become a little selfish because I get sometimes more than I give. I had a
Mm.
patient young man, he was dying, and his mother came, and it was very tragic. It was like a boom, he was dying. And she comes in, she puts her phone on his chest, and she plays this spiritual song that I know. And I'm sitting there, and this is giving her peace. She's telling her son, you can go, girl. I was so grateful. Like, that filled me. How is this mother? Like, how, number one, can I be of service in this space? But how can I take this with me? Because I think I may see this again or experience it. And,
Yeah.
it's just so much. And I feel when I leave those rooms, yes, I'm sad because it is a life force that is taken, but I also believe in a spiritual realm. So I don't believe energy ends. I don't believe our spirit
Yeah.
ends. I believe in, that it keeps going. So the gratitude I get for those kind of experiences, is a lot. It's a lot. It's enough to fill me. And I'll say, early in nursing, it was a little heavy. It was very heavy to go through that. And I kind of just pushed it out of my mind. And when I moved down, I'm from Connecticut. When I moved to Georgia, I got a different job. I wasn't
Mhm.
working in like critical care. I was working in like some, people had a little surgery, got sent home. So it was nice. It was a nice area, no death and dying. And I didn't realize how much that had laid on me until my family was like, you don't come home and talk about stories about, tragic stories anymore. And you seem to be sleeping better. These weren't things that I didn't even see. So,
Mm.
today, um, I sit in the space of being grateful that I could be there at a time of transition. Because
Yeah.
that's a very poignant time. It's the end of our human life and into the next spiritual one. And so it fills me with gratitude. So I kind of take that on, and I meditate. That's something that I do, that helps keep me grounded. And I also show gratitude for those that I'm with, that are with living. When I get a thought in my head to text somebody or call them, I do it. I don't wait,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
and that practice is something that's been fulfilling to me, is to make
Yeah.
sure I give people their flowers now.
Yeah, that's the that's the first social media, was that little intention, you know, that could, you know, like I always say, there's so many species that communicate. Just because they don't speak a language, it doesn't
Mm,
mean that there isn't communication between the ants and the butterflies and the bees, especially the bees. They working together, you know.
right.
There's a language, and we have one that is nonverbal. And when you get that little intuition, it is actually probably the most truthful, honest, and potent energy, you know,
Mm,
one can experience from the divine. That's what I believe. That because it's like why is it happening? And then
mhm,
why does it always, why is it typically accurate, you know,
mhm,
like
mhm.
so
Yeah.
y'all, I know we all know that thing. That is a black thing. When you
Yes.
think about something, give them a call.
That's right. Don't wait. Don't
It's not
wait.
it is not, it's not optional. It's not optional. Don't
It's
wait.
not optional. And that can, you know, some people call it like conviction, or but I call it intuition too, and I call it, you know, it's not like a, ooh, did I just think that I should call that? No, it's a knowing. It's something that,
Yeah.
and we have to walk in that, you know, walk in that. And because at the, I think from experience, when I do it, it ends up being not so much that I'm doing something for the other person, but maybe they had something to tell me. Oh, I was thinking about you too the other
Yeah.
day. Guess what? You know, and so,
Mhm.
you know, life is just all about that realm, you know, the spiritual realm to me, in terms of listening to all those little inklings, and just staying connected and, you know, awake to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I tapped
Yeah.
in. So you talked about motherhood, and Mother's Day just was
Mhm.
passed, and um, I have come to learn. I don't have any children that I've birthed, but I do have lots of children that I have put hands on and love and continue to help nurture and support. I know that they are drastically different things. I was a nanny for about 10 years, maybe
Oh,
more, 10
wow.
probably more. And so I have raised a number of children, but um, when it comes to, I've just now started to understand, right, that women are always saying, and mothers are typically saying, I'm a woman first. I'm a woman
Mm,
first. And as I have even worked on my own relationship with my own mother, you know, there's this idea of baton passing, right, between mother and daughter. And so I'm just saying, these things go together because um, in this society, as women, we hold many different mantles, and there are many different hats that we have to wear, and it can be challenging to balance those things. You know, I just saw a story about a woman who took her children and turned them over to Child Protective Services because she wasn't able to care anymore, right? And there was a whole lot of judgment and negativity about how she was a horrible person. Um, And I saw the exact opposite in that situation because there are lots of people who raise children who don't do that, and it might be the healthier thing, although it might be more painful, you
mm,
know. You're a mom, you're a nurse, you are a community leader. Okay, like I don't know if you consider that to be true, but it's true. Especially you train folk, you rear folk,
mm,
like you do the work, and you're balancing all these things. What has your process of becoming a woman, you know, what are some of the things that you have picked up along the way that have liberated you and freed you and
mm.
made it so that you're able to do these things with integrity and love and spirituality at the center of them?
That's a great question. You know, what comes to mind is all the women who have mentored me and shown me how to do those things. And, you know, I'm a firm believer, mothering, I don't believe you have to, mothering, I think, is a big term, right? I feel like those women, and several of them don't have children of their own, but they birthed in me a new life by showing me,
Mm,
one specifically that I think of, who is, she's a soror of mine. I met her when I was in college, and she was like my mentor for how to navigate through college life, life as a young woman, and I had a young child then, and just how to present to people, how to be an advocate. And I see her as this mother that birthed that out of me, because it wasn't something my
Mhm.
physical mother could it wasn't that wasn't her place for me to bring that out of me. It was this woman's, right? And then, somebody who's my mentor today that shows me how to take care of myself physically, how to nurture myself with me time. So I think of like those women who are examples of what it is to, yeah, go to work, yeah, be, with your partner, yeah, be your, whatever you do at home or in the community, but at all of that intersection is your true self, and everything taps into
Mhm.
it, so you don't have to lose that core. And it's all because, like, none of that I could come up with. It's all because I'm open now. And I pretty much have been open to that, to examples, to see other people and what they're doing. And these women I have had phenomenal, phenomenal mentors journey with me through, I mean, roads that, they didn't know where we was going, but they had that light and were like, I'm going with you. And my
Yep.
mother is a great example. She was always she worked very hard, and was very dedicated to her work, and is very, she lives with me now, and very dedicated to my children. Without her, I couldn't have, really gone through life as it was and got the education that I did. But really looking at, and they're all different. The women that I'm thinking of, they're all different. They're all from different parts of the world, the United States. Somebody's from California, somebody's from down south, a couple are from, the Northeast. So they all have these different lenses of what life is like. But from each of them, I've learned the definition of what type of woman I want to be is mine. You know, I can
Mm.
I can take parts, but it's mine. So, like, I
Yeah.
had somebody say to me one time, this is my mentor from down here. I love her. She says, Jamie, you know what? We're going to go out. Why don't you press your hair and get pretty? Right. And so, she's older.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
heard her and I was like, I kind of like my hair curly. I think I'm pretty with that. But it was just something that said to me, everybody has for her, womanhood means, nice straight hair and getting her nails done and having makeup. And that's okay for her. And I respect that. But, for me, it's these other things, it's working out and being like the woman, the woman in the gym that's doing it, or, you know, um,
Mhm.
those type of things are more the definition of who I want to be as a woman. And I wish that society would, those people that would talk about that mother doing that. Now, if it was on the other end and she didn't give those children up, and something happened to them, then she'd be a terrible mother. Why didn't she just give them up? And I think that that box, like, I think, like you said, that's a courageous thing. Imagine being faced with, I can't take care of my children, and
Yeah.
then doing the next thing by having
Yeah.
somebody. That is, that's commendable to me. you know to me, that
Mhm.
is what a true woman does, because that's true love for your children or your family. It's true love. So I think those parts of womanhood I've learned from mentors, even from you, everybody I come into contact with, you know um everybody has their own way that they manifest their womanhood, and I have mine.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of femininity and the divinity in the female, space. I don't know if that
Yeah, I
answers.
mean, even when you just think about the idea of birthing, the stretching that's required, that is why
Mhm.
I think, that's one of my favorite things about being a woman is the flexibility, the softness, the people use words like submissive, and I don't think that that's always cast in the most mature light. I've learned that submission is it's a strength,
Mm.
to be able to surrender, and fall into and assist and adjust and support whatever might be pressing you in life. Those are the things that women, those are the things that women learn. Those are things young girls learn early on, how to endure, how to survive, how to use cunning and how to use emotion and how to tap in and how to get quiet and be still, because the truth of the matter is, even if we don't learn those things, we get the opportunity to be confronted with these things and then learn them. And now we know why we need them. That I just love being a woman, because of the richness of sisterhood and the richness of divine beauty and from my sisters who are masculine presenting all the way over to super femme soft, it's just all of it is something that's so beautiful and shows the vast variety and divinity of God to me, and 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 Jamie, you are a woman of your word. I appreciate that. I appreciate your vulnerability. I appreciate the way that you show up and the way that you are true and honest, and that is a very large gift to give someone. Your truth, your honesty, your vulnerability, and those are the things that connect us and heal us and transform the world. And so my question, and there's some questions that I ask all guests. One question is, if you had to construct your own oasis, right? If you had to construct a space, place, time, whatever, that was intentional about rejuvenating and healing you, what is one element, one aspect, one thing that had to be present in order for it to be healing for you?
I would say it would have to have an air of grace, because I don't have enough for myself. I need that. For me, I have none for myself. And that's being really transparent, is I have none for myself. So it would have to be a space that took me as I am, and held me, especially if I was in a mind frame of feeling shame,
Yeah.
So it would have to be a graceful space. Yeah.
Yeah, grace. I've never heard that answer before. That's wonderful.
And thank you for
That's
that, the
wonderful.
definition of submission. Like I said, when you talk and converse with people, you hear what you're supposed to hear. I needed to hear that definition of submission. I needed that. Yes. That's a beautiful definition.
Listen, it's been a season. It's been a season. It's only relevant because it's prevalent. So I am actively learning the value of the things that I would reject. I personally always define myself as super strong and rebellious. Like, even as a teenager, I was carrying a lot of hurt. One of my mantras, and I didn't even know what a mantra was, and something I repeated over and over again, is like, no one can tell me what to do. My mom doesn't tell you what to do. My dad doesn't tell you what to do. What makes you think I thought that gave me some sort of protection and shield, and that made me strong. That made me like a cooler kid than other kids who obeyed their parents and all this stuff. And then it carried on well into my adulthood, because whatever we speak or the things we think are the things that we produce and create reality. And then it's like you're this rogue person who's untamable, even when you want yourself to be, even when you tell yourself like, oh, we're gonna eat well this time. That little person is still in your subconscious, like, nobody tells me what to do. I do what I want to do whenever I want to do it. And so the real strength has been stillness. The real strength, as I continue to heal, because healing is a lifelong process, because there's always going to be things transpiring in life, the thing that my spirit needs as a strong person is stillness, is softness, is acceptance, is grace, is all of the things that people in this society may dismiss, the things that are not capitalistic friendly, the things that are not systematically friendly. Those are the things I need to be well to function in this society, because if not, I'm gonna be beat myself up one way
mm,
or another, you know?
mm, mm,
So
mm,
submission is something I'm learning to value.
mm.
And it's easy. I don't have to do anything to have it. I really don't have to do, I don't have to do much. To do, I mean,
Ooh.
something gets, something gets to popping off,
Yeah.
peace be still.
Peace be still. Man,
That's it.
man, I love that. I love that. Um, we have
Um,
to face what is something that's been, the stories we tell ourselves, that we come up with, and they're built, right? For protection,
yeah,
right? And then
yep,
we come to
yep.
this space, and I don't know if everybody comes to it. I hope they do. You come to a space where you're like, this is not serving me. It's actually
No longer
damaging.
serves me.
So
Yeah,
that is like that line that now what do I do? Now how do I go against everything that I've built and protected myself with? It's no longer serving me. Like that is I don't think a few years ago I thought this, but today that revelation has been, that's just blown my eyes and my world open.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the revelate like you. This the simple question that people ask each other every day. How are you? How are you? And most times people say, I'm fine. I'm okay. Oh, I'm great. Thanks. Because it feels or seems softer to present as well and okay. But for the most part, I know that that's not true most times when we ask people. But when you take the time to take stock and inventory and ask yourself that question, how am I? And you tell yourself the truth, like look at the fruit in front of your face. What have you done? What do you want to do? What are you doing? Where have you been? Where are you going? Where are you right now? What do you have? What do you want? What have you lost or gained? Like when you start to look at take stock of the real fruit and evidence of your life, like what have I created? What is the smoke trail behind this
Mm,
jet that I'm flying? What
mm,
what is the what are the contents? What are the table of contents of this book I'm writing, of this
mm,
story that I'm telling? And then we get the opportunity to decide, do I want to continue to write this story? Do I want to finish the story? Is it time to switch to a new book?
mm,
Is it time to rewrite the novel? And we have the power to do that. Thank God. Thank you. Thank you. Because like as long as I'm still here, and hopefully when I've transformed into a different state of matter, like I'll be continuing to write the story that's rooted in love and wellness. Because I took stock. And when I take stock and I look at the evidence, I didn't like what I saw.
mm,
And then I had to tell myself the truth that I didn't have the tools to write anything different because all I have are the pens and paper that I've always had. I got to go somewhere and get some new material so I can write something different. I have to learn and experience some new things so I can produce new things and new thoughts. And that is that rebirthing,
mm.
of ourselves that we get the opportunity to do. Um,
I
and
think
so
it's
another
important. Oh, go ahead. I just wanted to say it's
no,
important
please.
as black women, we've been, told this narrative, go ahead and look at the fruit, but you can get better, you can do more, and don't talk about the fruit that's bad, that maybe, isn't ripe enough, isn't we haven't been allowed to say, I'm tired, I'm sick, I can't. That is not, and I still see it. And I think when you talked about mothering and nurturing, that's something we can do too, is to our sisters say, you look tired. Are you?
Yeah.
Instead of, are you okay? How are you? You look
Hmm.
like you could use a nap. Can you? You look like people need permission. And I think specifically when we talk about us, that's what we need to be able to give to someone else, is to say, man, I raised kids like that too, and I didn't have a car and was working, and my, you know, didn't have a partner. And what do you need help with right now? you know
Yeah.
don't hide anything anymore. You don't have to hide it from me. when we can do that with one another, specifically as Black women, because I don't see it enough. I mean, I see it when I meet people like you. I'm like, yes, yes, another person that's gonna
There's hope.
lift somebody up. You know,
Mhm.
that's something that just made me. When you were talking about that, is we don't get, for so long we haven't been given the, and we haven't been empowered to say, I'm tired. Like, no, I
Yeah.
don't want to do that right now,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't have it. I don't have it to give.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. That's no. You're ain't no apologies. That's no. That's a gem. The Saints need it, and that's why it was said.
Yeah.
um, I do have one more question, um, and it's my favorite question, so I'll just say that. But if you could have one wish come true for Black people, something that you could literally go to sleep tomorrow, wake up, open your eyes, and it is just simply so, just instantly. What would you like to see for our people?
Gotta pick one thing. Um, hmm. It would be um the ability to unapologetically be who we are, and to be wake up and to see who we really are, who we were created as, kings and queens, prince and princesses, to see that, to not be blind to that anymore, not believe, the colonization of our people, that we have were beaten into this submissive, you know, state, that
Docile,
we come from divine royalty. And that is, I want us to wake up, turn on the TV, and see that, and know that's what we are. Know that's who we are. Know it, like know it. Not just say, I know. Because when you know it, everybody else knows it. Can't nobody say
Mhm,
nothing to you. They can't look at
mhm,
you. They can't stop you and tell you get out the car. They can't tell you, you know what, you're not going to get the same health care as somebody else. They can't tell you, no, you don't got this job because because I know who I am, right? So I don't
yeah,
have to hide anything about me. I don't have to straighten my hair. I don't have
yeah,
to, put on makeup to make my features look different. I know who I am. I want every single solitary Black soul to know that.
absolutely. Y'all, Jamie, you're such a blessing. Just a walking blessing in the world.
You
Thank
are
you.
too. Thank you, Kaya,
Thank
so
you.
much. This has been awesome. I'm full. I'm full. I'm full.
Yeah, me too. I we're all, this week has been about boundaries and dismantling some of this codependency, and there's just nothing like, I mean, Oasis has done what it's supposed to do, because through this conversation with you, I just got a cool drink of water in this hot, hot, hot land. And I feel like I can go on about my journey just with a little bit more strength, a little bit more hydration in my spirit. So thank you, so much. Thank you so much
You're
for your
welcome. Thank
time.
you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. And thank you for continuing to do the work. There are people who um, just choose otherwise. It might be too much. It might be too overwhelming. It might be too hard. Whatever. And there's some people who just don't know. But you have been shown the way. You've been shown the light, and you live it, and you spread it. And I don't take it for granted. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kaya. I appreciate you very much. Thank you to your
Yes, sir.
listeners too.
Yes. Thank you to everybody who has been listening to Black Oasis. Continue to support Black Oasis. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share on all the platforms. And until next time, stay Black, but you don't really have a choice. And lucky you. Peace.